I want your thoughts on this as well, because you're in academia, and you spoke about how a lot of people in academia were changing. I'm explaining to you guys how Zionism is the biggest threat to the rights of Americans, the biggest threat to free speech, and this is something I always mention when you had the fraudulent free speech right. Because they always stand. No, I told so how many people I told people that the people on the right who was pretending to be for free speech never believed in it because of Israel. And people are like, oh yeah, Nick, I guess you're technically right. Those people are just now going through some shit because they realize how the extent in which these people was frauds. And now you have this story. I want to give you your thoughts on this and just overall the censorship regime of the Zionist project, which lead to Breonna Joy Gray getting fired. We're gonna cover that here soon. But she's far from the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna show you guys examples. Columbia Law Reviews refused to take down an article on Palestine. So there was order to take down an article exposing Israel's genocidal policies towards Palestine. The board of directors, after they refused to take it down, then nuked the whole website, got rid of their journalistic project at Columbia Law. So CBS, I want you to, Dr. CBS, I want you to reply to this video and also any personal experiences you may want to share regarding Zionist censorship in academia. Because I actually know a friend who don't want me to name him, who've been fired from their job. I know most people who've been fired because ever since October 7th started. But so do you want to share your experience about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, so it's Zionism is just the current, or anti-Semitism is like the current witch word. W.B. Du Bois talks about how we invent these witch words, right? So it's actually the exact same infrastructure. Using anti-Semitism to shut down any critique of Israel is the exact same infrastructure of labeling something communist to shut down any any sort of social movement, any ideas that challenge the U.S. state apparatus, especially its foreign policy. And so I think we're just seeing that recapitulated here, because ultimately it is Zionism, but it's U.S. imperialism, right? And it's an extension of U.S. and Western imperialism. And so there's always been vehement opposition by the U.S. state. And to be clear, U.S. academia is the intellectual arm of the state, period. Like, that is its function. But there's always been hostility toward a challenge to the U.S. foreign policy. Now, just because there's a few radicals who are able to be in academia, that shouldn't negate the overall structural imperative, right? And so, so there are people who have been, like our friend Jody Dean was removed from the classroom. Our friend Russell Rickford at Cornell was put on leave. There are several people who have had job offers rescinded, especially like talking, speaking gigs, especially like in places like Germany, but also here. So there's a lot of censorship that's happening. And will likely continue to happen until there's a critical mass of folks who are willing to stand up and say this is unacceptable, right? So I think we have to have courage. The reason why this is able to happen is because too many people are still silent and not willing to take a position because they're a fear of losing their jobs or whatever. But guess what? The Palestinians don't have the option to opt into what's happening to them or not. And so we can have courage. We can at least, the very least that we can do in the belly of the beast is to take the correct position, irrespective of what our station is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, while all revolution require class traders, there's never been a successful revolution without it. We can't rely on the professional managerial class, not because they're evil, and I always try to humanize them, but imagine you worked your entire life. Imagine you spent, like, how long did it take to get like a master's degree, for example? Like, what, 6 to 8 years?
Imagine you spent 1 year, 2 years. A PhD can take anywhere from 4 to 8 years.
Yeah. I'm talking about from the second you graduate high school. So that's like 4 years. I'm not like that.
Undergrad.
There's like 4 years in regular college. Then you got 2 years, 2 years, you said. And so imagine you spend all this time. So let's just say 6 years. Let's just say 6 years you spend in school, right? Then you got internship. You spend all these years to get to the professional position, right? Then you get hired. And also you got that salary job. You got student debt that's crushing you. And then you see the situation in Palestine, and you legit do feel for the Palestinians. But you also have a child at home. You have a mortgage you got to pay for. And even though you don't like what Israel's doing, you feel bad for the Palestinians, are you going to sacrifice that? Are you going to sacrifice the well-being of your children? Are you going to sacrifice and throw away all your work away you spent to get your social position just to stand up for the Palestinians? Now, this situation I'm laying out to you guys is the problem many people in the professional managerial class face. And I'm saying this way to humanize them because they're not necessarily evil. They're doing the human thing of protecting them and their family. Because if you stand for Palestine, those 6 years we just talked about, throw away in the trash. You're done. You're censored. And all of a sudden, the life that you plan for your children. Imagine you worked your entire life so your children can have a better life than you. You grew up poor. You worked hard to climb the social ladder, and all of a sudden you want to throw it away because you want to stand up for Palestine. You guys see why many people don't take that bargain, which makes the people who do even more brave. Which is why we're living through what I think is like a historic generation. Like these college students, even the privileged class are willing to throw it away and make enemies within their class. It's very hard to do, guys. That's why I put, because many people don't make that choice, which is why class traders are welcome, but we can't expect many people to make that leap. And I'll just give you I'll give you guys one example here of just one minute. I just do this very quick. One Australian journalist being fired. There's a list of all these journalists who was fired because they and you guys see what they say here, pro-Palestinian remarks. And I don't even like that term because a lot of people are not even pro-Palestinian. They just, hey man, can you guys stop killing kids? Anti-Semitic, blood libel, fired. Is saying stop killing children pro-Palestinian? I don't think it is. I think they're just being pro-human.
Right.
Which leads to the main story. And actually, sorry, anything you want to add? Any other thoughts you want to share before we move on, Dr. CBS? It could be on Y range thing. Anything you want to add before we move on?
I mean, I understand that I have a baby. I had a baby on December 13th.
Congratulations.
And so thank you. And so I understand the impetus to want to earn a living, right? Not only for your child, but even for yourself. But like, what life do we have when what is happening in Palestine will become the norm if we don't do something? And that is not an abstraction. Yeah. That's not an abstract or a philosophical point. That's an actuality. And so what it says to me is that what's happening in Palestine is it's a feminist issue. It is a labor issue. It's an environmental issue. It is whatever it is that you think you care about. Palestine is exactly about that.
Yes.
So I have far less sympathy than you. As somebody, a petty bourgeois Negro, right? I have far less sympathy of my, whatever co-class people than you do, because fuck that. Like, you actually have the luxury, access, and privilege to care. Like, it's the least that you can do.
Fair enough. Yeah. And I think that's a 100% rational position. I just try to humanize.
No, I hear you.
I understand what you're saying. And I think what you're saying is very base and 100% rational, because at a certain point, man, come on, man. You're going to complain about what you're going to lose compared to what people lost in Palestine. That's actually a very great and base point.